Welcome, welcome. Yesterday I stood at his grave. Today I'm standing where his slaves built this city with their bare hands. His name was John Marks Davenport Moore. Born in Georgia in 1811, by age 15 he had already homesteaded a plantation in Alabama. He built an iron forge and he was elected twice to the Alabama state legislature. He became the president of Alabama Coal Mining and Mining Company. By every measure of his time, he was a powerful and successful man. He was also a man who owned people, many people, in Alabama. Colonel Moore ran an industrial operation powered entirely by enslaved labor. He established a foundry, a marble works, other industries, not because he needed to, but because he had slaves and he wanted to put them to work. Then his empire started to collapse. Financial reverses forced him to liquidate most of his Alabama and Mississippi lands, slaves, and property. He packed up what was left and he brought it all to, yep, you guessed it, Corpus Christi, including his slaves. Here's the good stuff. Moore, he came to the city with a vision. He provided the first steam dredge to cut a channel between Corpus Christi and Aransas Pass in 1858. Many of his slaves worked that dredge with their own hands. The channel they built is the foundation of this waterfront that I'm standing on right now. During the Civil War, Moore did not just support the Confederacy from a distance. Governor Francis Lubbock personally appointed him as purchasing agent for arms and munitions for the Texas Military Board. He ran blockades, he traded with Mexico, he kept the city supplied, and he helped arm the Confederate war machine. He became mayor of Corpus Christi from 1877 to 1880. Celebrated, powerful, honored. Now here's the bad. Every bit of that success was built on the backs of people that he owned. And among those people was a man named Samuel Moore. Sammy and Colonel Moore had grown up together as children in the same house in Georgia. One, the son of a wealthy landowner, one his slave. They had been close since childhood, despite everything that separated them. Sammy worked in Moore's foundry as a puddler, a man who worked molten iron with his bare hands. And here is the ugly. When Sammy fell in love with a woman named Malvina, according to historical records, Colonel Moore bought her, not for himself, for Sammy, so his slave could marry the woman that he loved. And Malvina was no ordinary woman. She was of Black and Native American blood. She had arrived in Corpus Christi on January 1st of 1849. One of the very first slaves brought to the city. She came with the Baskin family from Mississippi. She had been here longer than most of the white men who would later claim to have built it. Now, I need you to sit with that. A man who considered himself Sammy's friend, buying another human being as a wedding gift, that is what the system looked like up close. It did not always look like a monster. Sometimes it looked like someone who thought he was being kind. Sammy, he eventually ran away. After a fight with a white man, he fled. For 4 years, he crossed in and out of Mexico, where he could have been completely free. Slavery, it was outlawed in Mexico. On one of those trips, Colonel Moore was with him, and Moore said to him, "Sam, you know you are free down here in Mexico. I can't require you to return to the States with me." Sammy told him if he had wanted his freedom, he had plenty of chances to take it before now. He chose to stay. He found his freedom at the end of the Civil War and he came back to Corpus Christi, back to the same city as Colonel Moore. After the war, Sammy, he worked as a cart driver. And Malvina, she took in laundry to make ends meet. They lived their freedom one hard day at a time, while Colonel Moore became the mayor and was celebrated as a founding father of this city. And their daughter, her name was Annie Moore Schwinn. Annie was born into slavery on May 15th of 1856 in New Braunfels. As a child, during the 1862 Battle of Corpus Christi, she was evacuated 12 miles inland while Union cannons bombarded this city. She said later that she could still hear those cannons as if she had been standing in town. After emancipation, Annie became a teacher. She spent her life educating Black children in Corpus Christi. She became a school principal. She died on the eve of her 19th birthday. And she left behind her story, written accounts of what this city looked like in the 1850s and the 1860s. Told from the perspective of a Black woman born into slavery here. Her words are some of the earliest first-hand accounts of Corpus Christi that we have. The slaves who worked Moore's foundry in Alabama, the slaves who worked his dredge on this waterfront, their daughter who taught the children of this city and wrote down its earliest history. This channel was not just built by Moore. It was built by the people he owned, and the most honest account of what the city was in its earliest days was left behind by one of those people's children. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly, all on the same waterfront, all in the same city. That is the Curveball. Bizarre, beautiful, and oh so true. I'll see you in the shadows.